All right, this episode of the Golf Gaming Podcast on the Sports Gaming Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 free bet. So head over to sportsgamingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. All right, DJs, welcome back. It's the betting show for the CJ Cup. It's your boy, Boston Capper, with the god of golf himself, Steve Shermer, and special guest, Joe Idone. Joe, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Yo, I'm doing great, fellas. Great to see you. Great to be back on here with you guys again. Looking forward to it and ready to talk CJ Cup, man.
You don't want to talk about the beat down the Browns got last weekend by my boys. You don't want to talk about that at all.
I'm about over this Browns team. Lack of effort, man. I can't put up with lack of what it looks like you don't try. I've been through some dark, deep days with the Browns franchise, but yeah, about had it with this team. Patriots, I knew we weren't going to win the game, but the fact, when you only run Chubb 12 times and the defense is just a mess, it was hard to watch.
Why did they do that? I don't understand. And it was close. The score doesn't reflect how that game was pretty tight until the fourth quarter. It was 13-10 and a half. I don't understand. You guys have one of the best running backs, and you letting Jacoby fucking Brissett throw the ball. I was like, thank you, all day, thank you. What a horrible game plan.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's game plan, it's coaching, it's effort. Because the Patriots, I mean, it felt like we were playing your practice squad. Everyone was third stringers, and guys, you're just pulling up for this week, and they're just dominate us. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question then. If this season just continues going this way, does Stefanski survive it, or do you think he's out?
So I definitely think we need to replace the defensive coordinator. If the season continues, so we're 2-4. If we finish 6-12, I don't think he survives it. But I will say this: I think he's a good play caller. I think that if we cut him tomorrow, there will be teams lined up to want him to be an offensive coordinator. I mean, he's got Brissett top 10 in QBR. He's not good. Right. He took Baker Mayfield to the playoffs. He can call plays. I don't think he's a great head coach, but he can call plays. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah. Why don't we talk about another beatdown that might be near and dear to your heart? So the PGA Tour today announced the elevated events, and I can't help to think that your hometown event, your Mr. Honda Classic, I think got the biggest shaft of all of them. So is there anything you want to say for maybe a eulogy of next year's Honda Classic? Because I can't imagine anybody of worth is going to show up.
No, and it's kind of to be honest, Steve, it's kind of been dead. It's been on its last leg because everyone lives right here. It's literally a 10-mile drive from 20 of the top 25 players in the world. No one ever plays it.
Right.
I do think there's a glimmer of hope, and that the field has consistently been so bad. It was Brooks was the only one who would always play it. And then it was sometimes you get Berger and Ricky, and every now and then JT would play. But I think the glimmer of hope is that they are going to rotate this. So maybe once every 4 years, everyone has to come play the Honda Classic, which I do think will be fun because it's a course that kind of kicks their ass and can kind of embarrass some people, which I think is why a lot of the top players don't like coming. It's why you don't see Scheffler and Rory and Xander and these guys, because they don't want to play a course with water on 16 straight holes, and it just isn't enjoyable for them. But maybe hopefully they continue this, and once every 4 years we'll get a great field, and beyond that we're relegated to standards Fortinet type field.
Yeah, I love the Honda, man. I don't know. I guess it's because I'm biased because I'm living in Florida. I play these type of golf courses that are absolutely brutal when water can kill you on every hole. And that's, as a fan, that's what I want. I don't want 22 under. I want birdies and train wrecks, right? That's what I want. And it should be perfect. I don't know. Maybe it's the guy who runs the tournament. I don't know.
The fan experience is awesome. It's one of the better attended events, I think, in the top 6 in terms of attendance every year. It's kind of like the East Coast version, a little bit of Waste Management, because they have the bear trap where it gets pretty rowdy. People are drinking all day. People start cheering and booing when it goes in the water. So it has a great fan experience. They just need to draw some big names back in.
Yeah, it's got to get moved on the schedule too. Just
that's the big thing.
Well, even if they do elevate it, I mean, the top players have no choice, but it just seems where it is, you have Phoenix, if they're going to keep everything as is, Phoenix, Riviera, Honda, Bay Hill,
yep,
players it's got to get moved somewhere else. I don't know exactly what the solution is, but hopefully the PGA Tour will maybe give it, either the elevated status or just move it somewhere else to.
I have a question, right? So we do the Florida swing. Why can't we just do like a couple events in Florida at a certain time and then come back to Florida later? You know what I mean? Like, why does every event in Florida have to be in a fucking 6-week period? It doesn't make any sense to me. Break it up.
It's a fair point because we just went Vegas to Japan to South Carolina. Yeah. So it's like we could jump back and forth from Florida.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, these guys can fucking fly, especially the top guys. They're all flying fucking private in their net jets. Like, they're perfectly fine.
Or what about even making like the Honda, like, that cash grab in the fall? What about moving into the fall?
Especially
just like having that be like the big event for like all that top 60 like players.
Because
like
Joe will tell
you,
Joe will tell you Florida in the fall, that makes for tougher golf, man. Like the way the Bermuda is and the wind starts kicking up all funny down here. Like like I think having some Florida golf on the PGA Tour in the fall would be fun.
October, early November would be perfect for it. You can't really do it in the summer, but you can definitely do it. But where they're at now, it's like they're just sandwiched between those two events. Or API, the players are still going to go to because they like that course better, and it has the honoring of maybe Jack just needs to die, and then maybe people once Jack dies, maybe everyone will come to like honor him and his course, and I'm sure they'll go to the memorial at that point.
I mean that's what happened with Bay Hill. Everybody started skipping that, and then poor Arnold died, and then everybody started going to that event.
Hey man, sometimes you got to make a sacrifice for the greater good of the game. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, why don't we take a quick break and then we'll start getting into the CJ Cup.
All right, listen, if you guys aren't thinking of joining WinBet, I don't know what you're thinking because now is the perfect time for new customers who bet $100. You get a $100 free bet. Plus, the WinBet Casino for all you DJs is open 24 hours a day. You get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. And if you're looking to join the WinBet Biggest Winners Club, it's whoever hits the biggest parlay on WinBet odds-wise gets a $1,000 free bet. WinBet is truly DGens only, and there's so much to choose from, and all you got to do is head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/winbet so they know that we sent you. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. The offer is subject to change. Terms and conditions do apply, and you must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WinBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
All right, CJ Cup. So before we get into some of the bets, Joe, why don't you kind of walk us through how you constructed your car as far as like some guys you tried to target, maybe types of golfers, any sort of stats you're leaning on? How'd you kind of formulate your betting card this week for the CJ Cup?
Yeah, for this week, I kind of I've been a little bit willing more so to adjust my strategy per event and what I see for really the board. So this week I happened to pass over the guys at the very top and build a little bit more in that 28 to sort of 35 range. And in doing so, being able to grab a couple of more players rather than taking someone up at 10-1. In terms of we can go back to the Palmetto. It played -11, won this thing. The scorecard is long. I don't think the golf course plays nearly that long. I do think the general width of the fairways being like 17, 18 yards wider than a standard PGA Tour stop is really going to open a lot of players up to taking driver more. And I'm looking at distance a little bit because if you can hit it 10, 15, 20 yards further on every single hole and you're taking drivers throughout the day, it's going to leave you with shorter approach shots on nearly every hole except for the par threes. And also when I kind of look back at the way some of these dog legs are structured, it's a different type of dog leg where you got to carry water, right? So if you fan it a little bit, you're not like just right of the fairway. You're going to be in the water. If you hook it, you're going to kind of be in the woods. But if you can sort of carry that, you're left with like sort of a short, chippy pitch kind of into a lot of holes. I think that's what Garrick Higo did toward the end of his round last year. So you can cut a lot of the corners the longer you are. I think putting is going to be important. The greens are going to be extremely firm and quick. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Driving distance, being able to have it proficient around the green game, and a little bit of putting as well.
Yeah, I think distance is going to help, especially because you mentioned everything's going to be firm. And with these firm greens, I think you're going to want to have a nice high ball flight into a green. And what's the easiest way to do it? Have a shorter iron in hand. So, I think I'm definitely on the same page as far as what you said. I think last year it played 7,300 yards because there was a new tournament and it got a little bit of rain before it's they had to shorten up a little bit. But even if it does play like 7,600 yards, the ball, if you just hit it down the fairway, it's just going to roll forever. Yeah. So, and I think you mentioned too, like even like a guy who maybe averages like 300 or so off the tee, if you just hit it dead straight, you're going to get out there 320, 325. And I think I think that's really going to, play in their favor this week. So I guess why don't we start with your outrights then? So who'd you bet?
Top of the board, the first guy I took was Fitzpatrick.
Nice. Love it.
Look, he's like what he's been able to do. I think we shouldn't overlook with the driver and how much ball speed and swing speed that he gained in a single season. What used to be like the negative aspect, I think, of his total game, he's now turned into a positive. He's top 15 in the field recently in driving distance. We know he's as good around the green and as good out of the sand as just about anyone. I think that's another sort of unique part of this course is there really is no rough. If you miss, you're either in the water or you're in the sand. So being able to be proficient both with irons and around the greens out of the sand is going to help. He's a great putter, particularly on Bermuda grass, and he's got experience. So he played this event last time in top 10. I believe he had a really good round on Sunday to kind of get himself into that. He was one of the favorites coming in, started off a little slow, but I think just those reps under the belt, I think being familiar with sort of the conditions and the Bermuda grass, being down here in Florida, he likes playing in South Carolina. That's my favorite bet sort of at the top. And I got like a 25-1 on him.
Nice. Love it. I'm with you on him, man. You said it. You said it perfectly. And I'm never a Fitz guy, ever.
I'm not usually either.
Yeah. And so, I like it.
Are you guys concerned that you're never Fitz guys and you're going diving in?
No, it means I just don't have the Scots issue, and it means I can see the opportunity clearly without bias, Steve. That's what that means.
All right. Well, as someone who bet Fitz a lot and that did not bet him at the U.S. Open,
I know.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to cancel the podcast when he fucking ended up winning after.
You know what? I'm not like you. I'm not as volatile, and
I'm not volatile. What are you?
No, definitely not.
I am very calm and even keeled. I don't know what you mean.
What about this week, Steve? You like him this week?
What happened last week at Spanish Open or Masters, whatever it was, he played terrible. Like his irons bad. He was bad off the tee too. And that was off a little bit of a layoff. So that kind of threw me through a loop. I understand. I think you make some valid arguments about him, as far as the length and everything, harder golf course, firmer conditions, Bermuda too. I don't know. I didn't get there with the outright. I might have been peer pressure into something else that we'll talk about a little later, but I understand why you would like him this week. I don't think the outright's for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like moving like right below him, sort of on the odds board, right in that 30 range. There were a couple guys I liked there as well. So it was like between Fitz and Justin Thomas for me.
Okay.
And those were the two guys. I'm not sure if either you guys went with JT at the top.
Yeah, I went with JT at the top.
Okay, yeah. See, that was the other move. I thought about that, but it just would have kind of limited my card. And then I kind of broke, like I could have had JT. By the time I had him, it was 15-1 or 25-1. And I just feel like, I don't know. I'd rather have the bigger number and maybe some more options this week with a little bit of uncertainty with the fall, just not seeing some of these guys. I didn't follow the Spanish Masters as much as you did, obviously, really at all. So not having a lot of unknowns about him and Thomas and Scheffler and Rahm and these guys and how their form really is off, it's kind of an off-season event for them, right? It's like a preseason game in a lot of ways in terms of their PGA Tour season. So just being a little bit tepid in terms of betting the top and figuring the guys I feel like probably have pretty equal odds of winning. I took a couple extra points on Fitz.
Okay. All right. Who else you bet?
I took Cam Young and I took Shane Lowry. So those are my two guys right there. I got a 30 on Young, a 35 on Lowry. I worry about Cam Young, and I felt like I kind of got talked into this by everyone else who's on him. Number one off the tee. I think that he's maybe the best guy off the tee besides Rory in the world right now.
Yeah.
I wonder in my head if super wide fairways, firm conditions are the best course to leverage a really good off the tee game. And I'm curious of your guys' opinions. I've been back and forth. I'm like, okay, well, he should be able to just continue to have this advantage, or would I rather have him on a course with narrow, tight fairways where his ability to hit it really long, but also really straight is going to be, expanded upon it and will really kind of give him an advantage versus I feel like most everyone's going to be in the fairway this week.
Okay. I mean, I can speak to that. So I think there's actually, I think you argue both in that with his length if it's really easy to hit fairways in really firm conditions, just the fact that you just bomb it out there is a huge advantage. And if it is just impossible to hit fairways and you want a guy with faster club head speed because everybody's going to be in the rough. The two examples I can point to with Cam Young is if you go back to Southern Hills, those had about 40-yard wide fairways, really firm Bermuda fairways too. The ball just kind of ran and tight lies around the greens there. That was one of the first things I thought of when I looked at this golf course and how I thought it was going to play. I just went, Southern Hills. Okay, Cam Young. That's kind of why I gravitated to JT a little bit too, kind of similar things. And then it's St. Andrews as well, just because, big fairways, firm conditions, the ball just ran, forever. And, he finished second at that tournament. He finished second at Southern Hills. And I just thought that if he can do it there, he can probably do it at Congaree too. So I also bet Cam Young as well. I'm with you on that one.
So I joined you on Cam Young after we talked last night, Steve. Okay. So we're all on Cam Young. And I get what you're saying, Joe, but I feel like it's such an advantage for how long he is off the tee. And even if everybody's still in the fairway, him 30 yards closer or 15 yards closer on even some of the longer guys, it's still an advantage, right? The shorter the club, the easier it is for these guys. So
yeah. And ultimately, like what I kind of landed on is I do like him on narrow courses as well, but I think if you miss, right, and you're not going to miss quite as often given how wide the fairways are, but if you do miss here, you're either in the water and dropping or re-teeing, or you're in the sand where you get no roll. So you may hit it 290, but it's going nowhere in the sand. If you hit the fairway, he's going to be hitting balls 350, 360 if this thing's really firm. So if you just continue to hit the fairway, you will get all that roll and be 60 yards, 70 yards ahead of the guy who hit it just as far as you, but ended up in the sand.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting you mentioned with Cam Young, like what is his golf course? Because I mean, he finished T3 at Harbor Town, and then about a couple weeks later at that TPC Potomac, where it was a 7,000 yard golf course that played like 7,800 yards because of the rain.
Yeah,
T3 cold. There. Yeah. So what is a Cam Young golf course?
And those are super narrow. Harbor Town is really narrow too.
That is true. But then, you got the wider fairways of Southern Hills and the Open Championship.
St. Andrews. Yeah. Did you guys know that at Southern Hills, Whitey actually killed a guy? There was a Boston mob hit over a high lie.
In the parking lot, right?
In the parking lot at Southern Hills.
That's
killed Randy Wheeler, I think his name was.
Yeah. I don't think Jim Nance mentioned that as Mita was showing.
He should. That's a fact that would just kill people in like just watching regular golf. You know what I mean?
Maybe Mito's body's buried next to that guy on that creek there.
Could be. He shot it right in the face of the parking lot.
All right. What about Shane Lowry? So you said you liked him. I like him as well this week. I didn't get there on the outright, but tell me a little bit of your thought process of getting the Lowry on the outright.
Yep. I like Shane Lowry on difficult courses. I think if it plays in that 10 to 15 under range, I think that's his sort of wheelhouse. He practices a lot down here in Florida, so he should be familiar with the Bermuda grass. I know he's at Bears Club, which kind of has some similarities to this, I believe, as well. Played great at the Honda. I just think he's good in South Carolina at the Heritage as well. This is just kind of sort of his region over here stateside where he plays well. And I think a lot of it is because he's a really good sand player. I have him as number one in the field over the last 36 rounds in terms of sand saves. So his ability to kind of get up and down, I'm not really sure a ton of what to expect given the layoff that we've seen. I don't have a lot of his European Tour stuff. He doesn't have the distance off the tee, but I think his ability to be crafty and proficient around the greens, if he can make some putts, I feel like is a decent number there at 35.
Yeah, so he won the BMW PGA about a month ago, missed the cut of the Alfred Dunhill, but that was crazy weather conditions.
Yeah.
So who the hell knows? You can kind of maybe throw that out. So yeah, listen, everything you just mentioned about Shane Lowry, the fact that, I trust him on some of these tighter Bermuda lies, good bunker player too, pretty good iron player from some of the ranges that I looked at this week. Yeah, I didn't get there on the outright, but I got him on somewhere else in my betting card that we can talk about a little bit.
I got him somewhere else in my cat as well.
Okay. All right. You got any other outrights or?
No, I thought about, I'm not there on Morikawa. Like if there was a point, I think that he's inconsistent right now, and I want to see him get back to like consistently top 10ing things. He'll have his moments, but I want to see him be in a little bit better form consistently. Okay. Torn on Spieth.
Okay.
I wouldn't normally ever bet him at this course, yet I love the fact that he's really good with his short game, and I think that something may have flipped a switch at the President's Cup with the putter that he has been looking for. with it, just from a confidence there. Like, I don't think it's anything stroke related or changing the putter or anything practice. I think it's just seeing a couple putts drop. I don't know. I haven't done it. I probably not, given where that my card's pretty much already full, but that was the next guy that I was interested in your guys' opinion on. And like, if you think that that's a good play, because I was torn.
So I have him on my outright card.
Okay.
And he is long enough off the box now, right? I don't give it. What's his biggest problem? He's squarely off the fucking tee, right? When you have money on him, he lines up on that tee box, your stomach's in knots, right? And if, like what we say is, if he rolls off and he's in these weird sand spots, like, who do you want trying to make a weird 45-foot chip to get it close? And like you said, 5-0 in the President's Cup. I feel like he carried JT on a lot of that. Like, I feel like putting is 90% in between your ears, right? Like, it's just a confidence thing. And like you said, if he saw some roll in, he was doing good. He's got that confidence built up. Man, he won at Heritage, another South Carolina course. Like, fuck yeah, man. 25-1 Spieth. Yeah, all day. All day.
Yeah, I mean, I like Spieth. It didn't make my outright card, but for all the reasons that Capper mentioned, I mean, I have no qualms with it. You know, he's got he's longer off the box than you think. Really good around the greens, especially like, you know, you think about tight lies around the green, you think Augusta National, you know, and that's what we're going to get this week as far as like, you know, tight Bermuda lies. I love that, you know, about him. And, you know, as far as the iron play as well, for some of the ranges I looked at, scores really well from those ranges. Good Bermuda putter. Did make my outright card, but I don't follow you. So I actually did bet Morikawa too. Okay. I got 35-1 on him.
That's a great number.
I thought that was a good number. So I talked about this last night. I am notorious for being about a week early on Morikawa. Either I bet him and he sucks and I don't go back to him and then he wins the next week. That's what happened in concession. I was kicking myself for that.
This place is kind of like concession.
You know what? It kind of is. It's a little wider off the tee, but like if you really spray it, you're kind of boned. Tight lies around the greens, fast Bermuda greens too. Kind of like that. So that immediately I thought of him when I was looking at this place too. And he actually, like, there's no strokes gain data from last week, but I looked at just some of the regular stuff like driving accuracy, greens and regulation. I think he was top 10 in the field in driving accuracy and like top 15 green regulation. So I know he hit it good. He just didn't putt well, and that's just what usually happens. And he's been good on some Fazio tracks. I mean, he was really good at the Olympics. He was good at Summit Club. Tom Fazio is the chief architect, consultant at Augusta National. He's been very good at Augusta. You know, he's been getting better and better every single year. If he can, you know, chip his way around Augusta National, I know he can do it here. So I liked him. I saw the 35-1 and just the fact that I'm just going to kick myself if he shows up well. And I'm just, you know, and I bet him last week. So I'm not going to be able to live myself. So he made my outright card. So I talked about Cam Young. I got him at 35-1. I joined him in there. I had JT 16. I don't think I need to go in there. Because I got good numbers on Morikawa and Young, I was able to squeeze Sungjae in. Again, he didn't play all that great. I don't know what happened last week, but you know, he's been good at some Fazio courses too. I mean, he was pretty good at the President's Cup, good at the Summit Club last year, good at Cays Valley as well. I just mentioned Augusta National. Fazio is the consulting architect there, really good there. I know he can handle type Bermuda lies, especially that Fall Masters too. That had a lot of Bermuda around it instead of the overseed. So I know he can handle that. Good at the Honda too. I just like him this week. He's had 3 runner-up finishes over the last like 10 starts or so. You know, he's just knocking the door, and 28-1 on him
on Bermuda too.
That on Bermuda, and then a couple stabs down the card. Only because I thought of Southern Hills when I thought of this place as far as like the tight lies around the greens, wider corridors, firm conditions. Going back to Mito at 70-1, he did not play well. He played good 3 of 4 rounds last week. Did not hit the ball though. I looked at some of the stats, and unless that round 2 score was just so bad that I just knocked down his green regulation race, I think he was like bottom 10 in the field. So not all that encouraged, but 70-1 on Mito for a guy that, you know, just came really close to the Shriners. You know, the Southern Hills comparison that I thought of earlier, I like that number. Siwoo came at 85-1. Just he's really good in Bermuda. You know, again, kind of thinking about Augusta National. He's been pretty good there. Chips, I looked at a lot of places that had a lot of difficult around the green conditions. He tends to chip very well at those places too. With some of the comp courses I looked at.
I mean, 85-1. He was chipping with a 3-wood at Augusta.
Yeah.
After he busted exactly.
There's a lot of places to throw a putter at Congaree too.
He's not throwing his new cheater putter, man.
Like, well, I hope he doesn't. He's putting pretty well, so I hope he doesn't. So,
Joe, do you think that's a cheater putter? Right, that's a cheating putter.
Well, he's not using it like a cheater putter.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. I feel like anything that's remotely close to that is fucking cheating. Joe, what say you?
Not cheating.
Bullshit. You're wrong.
You can't show up to the Saturday game at the club with that. But on the PGA Tour, I don't think it's cheating. There's other, like, I think the full on arm lock is more cheating to me than the brim.
Okay, I can get behind that too.
I agree.
It's weird. Putting's weird. It's like I don't know. It's all feel.
Yeah, it is. All right, and then Step Strock at 131. I have to go back. I had him at Sanderson, broke my heart because of stupid PGA Tour infrastructure rules and temporary relief. But yeah, listen, Bermuda golf course where he's going to drive the ball really well. One Honda. I'm just going to 130 to 1 on a guy who lost in a playoff at FedEx, lost in a playoff at Sanderson. Why not? It didn't cost me a whole lot on my card. I could squeeze that in. So those are my outrights. So. Capper, you got anything else?
Yeah, I do. So I actually have a question for Joe too. So all right, so now with like these shorter odds now, like we were having a discussion before you jumped on. Like now, so what I'm doing is like, well, I want a certain return on my bet, right? Yeah. So now I'm just upping the units on shorter numbers and kind of shortening my card everywhere else. Are you kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I do. I try to. What I've sort of settled into is trying to find roughly on a total card, no matter who hits, I'm returning like 7 to 8 to 1.
Right.
And that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's real. You know what I mean? That's just me being honest. So like if you see me and I'm like, hey, I hit this guy at 40 to 1, really based on all the other bets that lost, I won about like 8 to 1 on the guy. Yeah, so what that basically boils down to that I've figured out is throughout the PGA Tour season, I need like six and a half winners in order to be profitable. So luckily I've kind of been able to go over that, but that's kind of how I structure it. Yeah. So if I take someone at the top, I need to bet enough to get to that number to sort of offset the other things. And then, I take lesser bets. So I all kind of structure it around that principle to hit a certain target number based on whoever wins.
Yeah, I've been doing that too, just because I think with shallower fields with live, just the fractured golf, like the books have figured out, we're going to price all the top guys way low. And you kind of have this week it isn't the case because there's a lot of good players in 30 to 50 to 1. Yeah. But you look at Shriners a couple of weeks ago, there were guys 40, 50 to 1 that probably should be 80 to 1.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just okay, are these guys actually going to beat the Cantlays, the Tom Kims, the Sung Jaes? And sure enough, those three guys were just fighting for the win. It's just I had to make an adjustment, so I have to be more willing to go under 20 to 1, make sure I make a better effort doing that. Even if I have to kind of scale back on how much I'm looking to win, if that does hit, I'm going to get the original bigger bet back and kind of my net's going to be close to what I'm looking for. It was about 8 units, like you said. So yeah, I think I agree as far as you have to make a bigger effort of getting more guys towards the top just because there's less guys they have to beat now.
Yeah. Yep. It takes the fun. What are you going to do on lunchtime long shots now? You're going to be talking about fucking.
Yeah. Look, there's still a spot for those. And I still think it's the most fun bet.
Oh, it's absolutely the most fun bet.
I'd rather hit a $10. I didn't have it, but if I had Mackenzie Hughes 2 weeks ago, 125 to 1, that's a funner bet than hitting, Matt Fitzpatrick this week. So I still think there's that possibility. I don't think it's really diminished, even though that we've seen recently, the top players play really well. We've seen, I think, more than normal the last 6 months, winners coming from the favorite in the field. I think long-term, it'll all kind of regress back to what we usually see. And especially during the fall season, early season, you do tend to get a little bit more value, I feel like, in these guys deeper down the boards because it's an off season. Look, you mentioned there's some of these guys playing overseas, but I even wonder about the President's Cup guys, like Justin Thomas. Has he played and he's not even playing his own ball there? You know what I mean? So it's it's different. It's a different type of golf. Has he really played competitive reps in 2 months? I don't know. Like that's why I kind of like Sung Jae, because he has been playing these tournaments and he has a lot, he played the Shriners, he played the Zozo. So he has those sort of under the belt to kind of go back on it, and he takes no days off. Sung Jae, so.
He is the Bill Belichick of fucking golf. I will play every goddamn tournament. No days
I
off.
actually went back for the last year, because that's actually a good point you mentioned, because that was my pause on JT, but I kind of just like the number on him, and just there were a couple other factors that I like. But going back, I think, to the Sony Open, every winner, except for maybe one on the PGA Tour, had played within the last like 2 tournaments or like 2 weeks.
Wow.
So there really is something to like
it's a great stat.
having some sort of like rep
like that.
So that's why like I'm not afraid of going back to a lot of guys who play at the Zozo. They're like, yeah, they're flying across, the globe and everything, but they just play golf. And I mean, I saw a couple of years ago at the WGC FedEx that, guys played over in Tokyo, and Abe Answer ended up winning the next week.
Yeah.
So it might not be a thing either. So,
and even if they don't play well, like you mentioned, it's a full week of practice.
Yeah.
It's 10-hour days at the golf course, like from everything from your schedule to your routine to getting up early to getting the stretch to warming up for an hour and a half on the range to then playing 4 hours, then your post round work. Like it's just having that routine and just being familiar with it and being more comfortable, I think. Is like you said, if that rings true, that would make a ton of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right, so the only outright that I haven't touched on, so Fitz, Young, I bit with you with Straka after last night, Spieth, and then I got Hovland. Okay. I just saw that the sand obviously worries me, but I feel like it's bunker play, and like I feel like it's going to be a little different than a waste area. And he played good last week, and I don't know, man. The talent is there, and when I see a 2 in front of it, like I think about it, and how I'm searching my card now. It's gonna be a couple guys under 30, and 1 or 2 long shots, and that's it. And then I'm going back to Keegan, because guess what, baby? Fucking the floodgates are fucking open. Let's go. Like, are you serious? Like, why not? Why can't he win
what's worse
back?
than the broomstick putter is this.
The aim point thing? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
I have no defense of it. No defense. Zero. I get on Cantlay with his stupid happy feet, and Horschel with his happy feet and their awful shit. I turned a blind eye to my boy Keegs because I love Keegs. And bone to pick with you, by the way. You chose Ricky over Keegan as the golfer of the week. He didn't win, sir. Keegan won.
Well, I haven't been. It's not necessarily just like winning. Like I haven't given it to a winner yet.
I was offended. I was listening to that shit. I was like, how did he give it to the fucking guy who lost? I was like, Keegan hasn't won in fucking a couple of years. He's a great story. He's been close. Like,
you're right.
I feel like you were wrong with your own opinion on your own podcast, sir.
I'm proud of Ricky for resisting the temptation for Liv and sticking it out, because he was the perfect candidate for them. He gets everyone's going to search him. He's popular. He's totally lost his game. Go take $100 million, play 8 events a year. You're a dad. Like he was perfect. It fits the mold to a T.
The stereotype. Exactly.
And I'm proud of the fact that he's just like, fuck that. I'm going to fire my coach. I'm going to fire my caddy, and I'm going to start over, and I'm going to stick it out, and I'm going to play fucking qualifiers and anything to get into these events.
Yeah, man.
And he's almost got his FedEx Cup points from all last season, so I'm hopeful for him.
Yeah. I'm happy. Week, no, I thought about it, but because he's longer down the board too. He's still sitting like 75-1, and I saw Joe has the same fucking awful shit that I have down here in Florida. He has like Steve's numbers, and he's like, it's the gross. I heard you talk about it. I don't even go on Twitter on Monday mornings anymore because it just makes me angry, and it literally ruins like what I would normally bat. Like, because I'd be like, well, that's a terrible number because I saw fucking, whatever, Andy or Kirshner or House Money got it at fucking 20 points more than I got it. Yeah. And I don't want to take it. So I just, Monday mornings, like, no, I'm not even scrolling Twitter. I'm not even, like, I might not be active on Twitter, but I'm constantly scrolling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just too lazy to type shit. But like, Monday mornings, no scrolling. That's it. No scrolling until I get my own boards, and that's it. Like, I can't be poisoned by, Jeff, who gets the bets out at like 8 a.m. in Texas time. Like, it's ridiculous.
I know.
All right. Well, we take it to our break, and then we'll go over some other props.
All right, well, listen, man. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. You play in the Pick'em contest versus other people with a shot at winning $250K plus in cash. All you gotta do is download the app, choose the contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20x your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet on up to 5-player prop over-unders on individual matchups across every major sports league, including the NFL. NBA is back tonight. My Celtics are going against the 76ers. PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. You sign up today with promo code SGPN at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the App Store to get a first deposit match up to $25. Make sure you check out No House Advantage today to experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not how you play, it's but also where you play, and you don't want to miss out on this. Secondly, Babbel. We kind of talked about this last night, right? Maybe I need it for English, right? Some people don't think I speak the proper English. Maybe I need the English help. I don't know. Listen, if you like me, there's definitely a foreign language that you regret not learning. Spanish, right? Like I said last night, there was literally a class for me made for me and 7 of my buddies and one girl in high school called Spanish 3 Standard Low. And that was it. Like, they just gave up on us and threw us in a classroom. You don't want to be like me. So you go to Babbel. It's never too late to start learning a new language. And it's the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. Thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons, you can finally cross off learning that new language off of your list. With Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson, so you can start having real-life conversations in a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Other language apps use AI for the lessons plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and with Babbel, you can choose up to 14 different languages: Spanish, French, Italian, German, whatever you want. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. There are many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to the lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, short stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new learning language journey with Babbel. So right now, get up to 55% off your first subscription when you go to babbel.com/SGP. That's babbel.com/SGP for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
Okay. Why don't we continue with the betting card? Why don't we move over to matchups? Joe, why don't you kick it off? Do you have any matchups that you like this week?
I haven't pulled any triggers on any of them yet. Let me pull them up here. While I pull them up, why don't you give me yours, and I'll kind of go through them here.
All right. Well, why don't I talk about Shane Lowry? This is where I had him on my betting card, and I like him for all the reasons you said. It's just, not for the outright, but just like a really good scrambler. I trust him on some of these tighter Bermuda lives. Good iron player, especially from some of the ranges I looked at. He was an underdog to Max Homa. He was plus 115 against Max Homa, who Max Homa's playing great. I still don't know if I trust him on Bermuda. It seems like a lot of his better finishes have come in either bentgrass greens or Poa greens. I know he's done well at Quail Hollow with a Fazio, but I don't know. I don't think Lowry should be that big of an underdog to him. And I like Lowry for this golf course. Homa also has not been very good on some of these around the greens surrounds with some of the comp courses I looked at. Lowry's been much better at those. So I took Lowry plus 115 or Max Homa.
That's
and then
squeamish.
I also
that makes me squeamish. That makes me squeamish for you. Betting against Homa, like this makes me uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, I've been terrible with matchups, so probably if you're listening, you should go the other way and just slam Homa minus 140 or whatever he is. So,
okay.
And then the next matchup I bet was I went to Emiliano Grillo. I wanted to put him on my card somewhere. I got him plus 100 over Maverick McNeely. So McNeely's been playing really well lately. Let's just look at both of them. Both of them struggle around the green. And they both struggle around the same places that I usually look at. Grillo's just a much better iron player than McNeely is. And McNeely's been doing it all with the putter. I think he lost strokes with the irons his first 2 tournaments, the shot link measured ones. I looked at the Zozo stats, did not hit his irons all that great either, but he putt really well again. Now we're going to get him on Bermuda. He's more of a bent grass guy. I don't trust him on that. I think Grillo is just the better ball striker. I think he's going to be a little more consistent for this play, especially if it's firm and fast. Grillo plus 100 over Maverick McNeely.
Love it. So I'm on that. I'm on that one with you. Even Grillo over McNeely. I faded McNeely last week. It ended up I don't even remember if that one worked or not.
I think he was like teach well. He played well last week.
Yeah, but when did Hoagie come in? Because I had Hoagie against him. I was
Oh,
chasing,
you had a Hoagie too?
Yeah, I think
What about even?
Yeah, so I either pushed or I think I lost, but whatever. I was chasing that 10.5 strokes putting. Like, fuck that. McNeely wasn't doing that again. And I'm going back to the well on it. And then, so this one might make you squeamish. So I'm going JT over Scotty Scheffler, and I get it plus 110. On what planet should I be getting plus money with JT on a course like this, with Scotty being in the form he's in? And I mean, to me, I saw it. I grabbed it immediately because sometimes when I dick around with these things and I wait a couple days, like it'll get steamed and I'll now end up paying juice. But I mean, JT over Scotty at plus 110. What's not to like about that? I mean, you took him out, right?
Okay, let's stop the show real quick. So, what did we talk about last night with you?
What?
You actually hate JT.
Yeah, I do. I don't like JT.
You do.
He's a dick. Yeah.
Is this a subconscious way to just complain about him again over the weekend?
No. Listen, man, I will put my money on the only team I will never put my money on is the Yankees. That's it. I will literally put my money on
or
every
Team
other
Europe
fucking
at the Ryder Cup.
Oh yeah, or Team Europe. Correct. Yeah, America. Yeah. So I definitely won't do that. Although I will do matchups with European players. Just I want to put that disclaimer in there in case they want to come at me later. Yeah, listen, the only team, and yeah, I mean, I can't even think of a football team. I put money on the Jets before. I put money on the Colts and the Ravens. Like, I fucking hate all those teams. But yeah, I hate the Yankees. I'll never put a single fucking dime on the Yankees other than for them to lose. And in golf, just because I don't like you doesn't mean I'm not going to bet you. I hate Rory. I bet him. Like, who cares? Like, I don't care. I have no allegiance to golfers other than, my squad, my normal guys. That's it.
That was a very statesman answer, and I look forward to you, motherfucking JT, on Saturday.
It'll be on Thursday. It's always on Thursday with JT. Always. Okay. You know exactly. He comes out fucking slow, and I immediately want to throw my laptop into the fucking wall.
All right,
and then I got Montgomery over Hammond. Like, look, I know Montgomery's been doing everything with his putter, but Hammond on this long course, like, I know he's going to get roll, but I don't know, man. Like, and it's only minus 105. Like, I'll trust the guy who can putt. He's longer than Harmon. I just immediately just wasn't a course fit for me, right? Like, am I wrong about that?
What's Harmon's odds the other way?
Oh, I don't know.
I kind of like Harmon.
Why? Why do you like Harmon? All
right. Well, didn't he finish top 10 at St. Andrews? Wider fairways, tighter lies, firm conditions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Finished second at Aaron Hills, wider fairways, firm conditions, a lot of rollout, tighter lies. I don't know. Harmon might surprise this week. That's fine. I know he's short, but like, that's a dude that's going to get some roll assists if he just hits a dead straight.
I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I don't give a shit. Money's already laid, man. And then I got questions on. So maybe you guys can walk me through this one. So I don't typically, when I tag a player for matchups, it completely blows up in my face. So maybe everybody should bet Scotty. But I could get Rory against Scotty at minus 140. That seems fishy. Yeah.
Why does it seem fishy?
Because he's like
too low.
Yeah, I think it's too low because he's like minus 130 against Rahm, and like I think he's like minus 180 over JT. So I don't know. The juice doesn't seem right on this one when he's the consensus, like, obviously course fit 100%, top 10ing fucking everything, just like horse for the course 100%. So it just seems fishy to me. And it's a little bit of a 140 on a matchup over a weekend's kind of juice. And Scotty's still the number one player in the world. You know what I mean? Like, he's still the number one player in the world, whether what we think about him or not. Still the number one player in the world, and he ripped off a shit ton of wins. And I don't know. I haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet. Do you think I should just stay away since I already got JT? What do you boys think?
Joe, what do you think?
It's a little too much juice for me. I don't like playing 140 in a matchup, especially for a tournament when it's like, it's one thing for, I think, like a match play round, like in the President's Cup. I laid those type of like 140, 150 numbers when you aren't going to lose like more than one stroke a hole. You're just banking on the better player.
Yep.
I just don't really should go that deep typically in matchups. I'm with you guys both. I think the Griot is a great pick against McNeely. Like, the dude just all of a sudden turned it around with the putter out of nowhere, and he's like good now. So
yeah, so weird. Keegan and Griot, both good putters.
Yeah, the other one for me I like is Burns over Morikawa. I see it as an even money matchup. I think that Burns is better off the tee. I think that he's longer off the tee, and I think that he's a lot better putter as well, particularly on Bermuda grass. I have him the number one putter in the field. I think that they both played reasonably well sort of there at the President's Cup, but I don't mind that matchup. He's like, in terms of the odds boards, he would be technically the favorite in that matchup, and they're both even money. And the one that like is just kind of weird to me to see. So it's Tom Kim and Cam Young. They have this matchup over at DraftKings. Cam Young is an underdog. Tom Kim's minus 130 in a matchup against Cameron Young. Ooh. Like, am I willing to step in front of the choo-choo train that is Tom Kim right now? I think that Cam Young is probably the right side there, just sort of playing against, how hot can this guy really be if they do play it back from 74 to 7,600 yards? I think that it's a huge advantage for Cameron Young off the tee there. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Would just seem like an off number.
I mean, didn't you hear that Tom Kim is the next Tiger Woods?
Yeah.
I mean, so why are you doing that? You're just burning your money at that point.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna go look at my locals to see if I can find that, because if I can get Cam Young as an underdog against Cam, because I didn't see it, because I feel like that would have jumped out at me. Like
it's up on DraftKings, yeah.
Well, Joe, as you know, we do not have access to DraftKings where we live. Sir.
Correct.
So
yes, we need a proxy.
We do. Yeah. And by the way, a proxy fucked up a week on my Circa.
No.
Oh yeah, super fun. My buddy texted me and I was like, "What do you mean he didn't get the fucking pick set?" What do you mean?
Oh man,
I was like, there goes
terrible.
That. I guess we're playing for. It doesn't matter. We suck. We suck anyway. I need to stick to golf is what I need to. Golf and NHL. That's it.
Those are fun contests, though.
There you go. All right, why don't we take one more break and then we'll finish up with some other positional props.
All right. So listen, if you guys watch football, you need Fubo TV. It gives you complete coverage of the college and pro football with the NFL Red Zone, plus games in 4K at no extra charge. Over 100 channels of live sports and entertainment for a fraction of the price of cable. Watch on all your devices and never miss a game or episode of your favorite shows that are included with the cloud-based DVR. Plus, there's no contract and no commitment, and you can cancel at any time. And right now, you can try Fubo TV for free for 7 days and get 15% off your first month. Just go to fubo.com/SGP. That's FuboTV.com/SGP. And then we got to talk to you guys about Odds Trader. It's a place where you guys can compare all the odds from the major sports books. You can compare the different sign-up codes and promotions. Just make sure you get the best deal. The app provides player stats, key game stats, injury reports, and game day weather, so bettors can make the most informed bets possible. And you can have a bet tracker too, so you don't have to do it like me on a goddamn piece of paper, which just doesn't work out so well sometimes. So listen, go do the Odds Trader thing, man. Like I said, they got handicap, play-by-play updates, live score and bet tracking, player stats, key game stats, projected game day weather, and allows you to keep records of all of your games and betting activity. So go to oddstrader.com/bluewire. Odds Trader, the number one site for all your game day bets.
All right. Joe, why don't we start with you? And I don't know if maybe I'm alone on this, but I did not like the positional market this week. I thought they kind of did what they've been doing with the outrights as far as just like really juicing guys up with top 20s and top 30s and whatever that stuff. So I had to get kind of cute, aka I'm going to lose all my money with how I did this. But what about you? Why don't you kick it off? What are some positionals you like this week?
There's a couple of top 10s that I like. Two of the guys that I bet outright in terms of Lowry and Cam Young are both like plus 275 in terms of a top 10. And one guy I didn't really talk about, but I just think he's in for a huge season is Cameron Davis. I think he can play. I think this is a great course for him. I think almost any course is a great course for him. He's really long off the tee. He's a good putter, and he's really good with his wedges. He's 5-1 to top 10 this week. In terms of like going down in sort of the top 20 market, if you want any like sort of dart throws that are decent odds, I like my guy Denny. He's like plus 350 in a top 20. There's only 78 guys in the field. When he gets that hot putter, like he could finish top 20 pretty handily. And then I thought about Danny Willett, man. Plus 450. Plays well at the Heritage. Plays well down here in Florida. Lives in Jacksonville now. So
does he live up here with me?
Yeah, he moved to Jacksonville during the start of COVID.
So is he Ponte Vedra guy?
I think I'm not sure. I think he's like right in Jack's Beach.
Okay, that's right.
He's working with a coach there.
It's all the same strip. Everybody just wants to say Ponte Vedra because of the zip code. It's annoying.
Plus 450 on a top 20 for Danny Willett. Obviously, heartbreak at the Fortinet, but I think this is a good course for him. He's really, really good. Like his strength is around the greens in chipping.
It is.
I think he's the number one guy in the field going back the last 36 rounds and around the green game. We'll see if he can put that together. A top 20 is is not asking you to beat 156 guys, but the number kind of reflects that. I agree with you, Steve, that they depleted a little bit of value due to that. Those are some of the ones I like, though.
That's a great number too. 450 on that. That's fucking. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I can always get behind a good Danny Willett bet. I love that dude.
Anytime 275 at DK. So like if you're using the odds checker grid, which I like to use, which you mentioned, or if you have shop it around over at FanDuel, you can get almost double the number.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Capper, what about you?
So I'm being a giant pussy because I got my dick kicked in last week with the positionals, literally blanked, and ate so much juice. It was unbelievable. And I never do it. So whatever. I'm gonna scale it back to do what I normally do. I am gonna take Rory top 10 at -125. Whatever, man. Like horse for the course. I can't get behind the 6 or 8 to 1 number, whatever the hell your local offers or whatever you can get. But top 10, he's just a top 10 machine. And if it bites me, it bites me. It's not too much juice. And then for the top 20, I got Homa and Spieth. I'm not parlaying them, but they're the same juice at -110, right? I know he doesn't have a great course history on Bermuda, but Homa, same thing. Stud in the President's Cup. Obviously plays well on Fazio courses. So I like the price on it. I couldn't find him anywhere else on the card, and I kind of wanted him on it. So top 20 for me was where it was at. I didn't like his matchups. And then I got Lowry. I got him at +125 for all the reasons Joe talked about. Yeah, like honestly, he should have beat the next guy on my card, Straka, +225, top 20 down in Florida. And then the rains opened up and basically soul sucked my boy Lowry's chances out, which broke my heart. And then I'm 100% going to go find Willett, and I hope I can find that 450 number. I like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I also joined you on the top 10 for Rory, and I was a little hesitant on it because I also didn't do all that great with positionals last week. But I do think, not only has he been in really good form, there is the narrative that he is going for world number 1. I think he's going to show up and kick some ass this week. So basically just betting it like it's a matchup or just a football game. I'll do that. Yep. Capper, and I guess Joe as well. I am going to trust you guys with Fitzpatrick. My instincts were not to go with him this week. Capper, you kind of sold me on him. Joe, you also did very astutely too. Top 10 on him +230. And you know what? If it goes to shit, I can just yell at Capper all weekend like he's going to yell at me for JT.
That's right.
So win-win, baby.
That's right.
All right, and this is how I'm going to lose all my money this week. And how I lost all my money last week was I looked at some of these positionals. I'm like, all right, I can parlay a couple top 20s, top 30s. This is going to be easy money. There's no one in that Zozo field that's worth a damn. And then Kyle Morikawa sucked and Cam Young sucked and Sanjay sucked. Well, you think I learned my lesson? Well, I didn't. I kind of tweaked a little bit what I did. But again, just looking at top 20s, top 30s, top 40s, there's guys I liked. I did not want to pay juice on them. So here's what I did. Let's start with Sung Jae In. I like Sung Jae a lot. I already went over the top of the show. I think his top 20 odds are -130, -140 or so. I was able to parlay that with Rory top 30 to get it to +125. It's a little stomach it a little better.
Yeah, I hate it.
And then I was able to do the same thing with Aaron Wise top 30, another guy I like this week. He's been pretty good on some Fazio tracks, decent scrambler in some of these tighter areas too. His top 30 price is -115 or so. I was able to parlay with the top 30 at +125 as well.
So he uses almost a legit cheetah putter. It is a centimeter away from his chest.
He is, I think, cheating. But it's helping him. And then the same thing with Siwoo Kim, except this one I did with JT top 40. Get that up to top +125. So Siwoo top 30, JT top 40 parlay +125. Right. And then some top 40 props too. I love Sepp Straka this week. Even if he doesn't win, I think he's going to beat half the field. And I was able to get him the even odds if I parlay a JT top 40 parlay with him. And then another guy that we haven't talked about, Kirk Hitayama. So bomber off the tee, really good scrambler too. And some of these golf courses I looked at with some of these tighter, trickier lies around the green, he's been really good at, like Honda. He was third there. So Kirk Kitayama top 40, Rory top 30 parlay +105. So I was able to take those guys were paying -140 juice. I was able to get a little plus odds on them to basically beat less than half the field. That's how I'm going to lose all my money this week.
You're going to have,
cute, but it sounds great.
You're gonna have the Charlie like Jan from Always Sunny up in your garage trying to figure out who needs to hit where to cash what fucking bat. Like my head's spinning from just fucking listening to it.
Well, I'm gonna look like Charlie when JT's like 55 after Thursday, smoking cigarettes, asking what Pepe Silva is. And then I don't have like a long shot like prop on my card. I believe in Sung Jae this week, and I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I think Morikawa is gonna have a good week. Top 10 parlay on them 12-1.
All right. Oh, I like that. Pays pretty good.
There we go. So
not bad.
And that's it.
Not bad.
You guys got any other props that you like?
I'll have my first round leaders out. I mean, I got my normal guys. Like I'll always bet Munez. I know it's John's guy, but it was my guy before I knew it was John's guy. So technically, it's my guy too.
Who do you got?
Munez. I always bet him.
Oh, Munoz. Is he in the field?
Yeah.
He is.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll bet him. I'll bet Keegs because God damn it, he's coming out of the gate strong after that fucking victory. Let's go. And then Rory and Young. I know I'm betting both of them. I'll probably have to lay a little more than I like to. Typically in my first round leader bets to make it pay what I want for Rory, but if he's got it. I mean, I think he cashed two. I think over the last couple months he's cashed 2 first round leaders for me. Like he comes out of the box. Same thing with Cam Young. Like at Heritage in South Carolina, the dude came out of the box like fucking like a tomahawk missile. Like why not? And then I always have I always sprinkle a little on Spieth because if I don't, he'll kill my other bets. So I always put a little bit on Spieth just out of pure superstition. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't have any first round leaders. I think I'm going to come around to it though, man. You may have talked me into. I'm noticing that there are guys. Munoz is one. Rory is one. Cam Young had a couple. I think he was the first round leader of St. Andrews as well. There's something about like certain guys who have that. I don't know if it's random or they just have that ability to come out of the gates hot.
Come out
getting a little bit better number. So maybe I'll kind of reassess what I thought about.
Yeah. Listen, there is no better bet than fucking your Thursday morning sweat while you're either sitting in your home office or your regular office and you got PJ up and you're getting a legit sweat. Like, before the fracture in golf, I mean, we are having 120 to 1, 150 to 1 guys live. Yeah. I mean, hitting fucking.
I hate the chop.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the chop is bad, but listen, it's better than no chop, right? Yeah. It's better than no chop, unless, yeah. Well, I think there was one time where the chop actually made me lose money by hitting one, and I was like, "This is impossible."
Oh, because it split like 9 ways.
9 ways. I was like, "How did this work? How did I lose money hitting that?" I'm very confused. But whatever, it's fine. Listen, I got 1 first round leader on the fall swing. I've been 2 events in, first round leader in and outright. I can't ask for anything better. I kill the fall swing once it gets fucking to like normal golf is where I start shitting myself because I hate betting the top of the board, but now I got to stop betting the fucking top of the board again. So I don't know. Maybe this year will be a little better.
It's brand new world. So all right, Joe, you got anything?
Keegan wins. You're on top of the world.
That's right, baby.
Exactly. So all right, Joe, you got anything to plug before you get you out of here?
Yeah. Twitter page at Tour Picks. You can find the podcast that I do there Monday nights, Preferred Lines. Wednesday nights, I do a show with Rick Gaiman for the Jock Market Power Hour. That's about it. Like to join my friends and talk golf. So if you want to hop on over to the page, give me a follow. I put all the stuff there up for free. Would appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I heard you guys can short now on Jock Market?
Yes. Yes, you can short during the IPO. So it's kind of changed the game. Because
so that really piqued my interest, man. I heard a random ad read on a Boston radio station, by the way. The 98.5.
They're from Boston. They're Boston guys who started it.
And I was like, oh, we can short now? Now that piques my interest because I'm a negative asshole and I like to short people. So
yeah, well, the problem is early on in Jock Market, like there as it was becoming new, it was like very easy to win. Frankly, right. You just buy it up. But now everyone's gotten so much into it and everyone won so much that like people are starting to pay way too much for guys. So now you can kind of get on the other side of that. Yeah. It's basically you're betting against like what their projected outcome is. So a certain price point is going to require them to finish 11th or better. And you can kind of just reference the odds. If it gets too far above that, you just like bet it the other way now with shorting. So it's a cool app. Good fun.
Look in Capper's eyes right now, just like eyeing like a steak right now.
Oh, dude, I was like, I heard it today at lunch, and I was like, oh, and Joe's coming on tonight. I asked him to make sure this is actually true.
Get in there, buddy.
You got a promo code you want to throw to our guys so they know that you sent them over?
Yeah, power is the promo code. POWER. It'll get you $100 deposit match. You chuck in 100, they'll throw you 200.
Can I get a special deposit?
That's the best I got, man.
All right, fine. It's worth a shot. It's always worth asking, man.
You get in there, you'll make some money. We'll talk on the side. I got some strategies for you.
All right, sounds good. All right, Steve, you got anything else, brother?
No, that's it. We're gonna go from the penthouse to the outhouse next week when we cover the Bermuda Championship. But yes, Capper, we will be doing podcasts.
I know you already told me.
You hit Lucas Herbert last year, so you
I
have
did,
to
the
show
ear.
up for your
I know,
media
I know.
obligation
I know.
and break it down.
We'll get another one. That's fine. We'll
Yes,
get another
we
one.
will.
All right. Well, you guys know where to find Steve. He's in our Discord channel. I randomly pop in there every once in a while. I am on Twitter, Boston_Capper, follow the Golf Gambling Pod. Now we're on YouTube as well. I think it's the Golf Gambling Pod. I tried to find it last night, but it was after a few gin and tonics. I didn't go right. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'll find it out. I'll tweet that out as well. Thanks again to our good buddy Joe. Always a pleasure having you on. And once again, boys, let's go break those fucking books.